Hello, sir. Manoranjan, sir. Hello,
Hello.
Manoranjan. Sir, very good, sir. I have given the share option to you, sir. Please
Yes.
try to upload your PowerPoint, sir. Chandrasekhar, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, sir.
Okay. It's welcome, participants. Tomorrow today the second session will start on 11:35. Now we'll start. The time is 11:33. Let's wait for another 2 minutes. It's another anyway. It's having number of Chandrasekhar to introduce our chief guest. Anyway, welcome, Sahu sir. Welcome. Chandrasekhar to introduce our chief guest. Now call upon to introduce.
Yeah, copied, sir.
Okay.
So, respected participants, I'm honored to introduce Professor, Assistant Professor Manoranjan Sahu, sir, who has done doctorate in Premier Institute, and along with MTech 2 in Premier Institute, namely IIT Hyderabad. And the research focused on the power electronics converter design. And at very early young age, sir has been reached a lot of milestones, he has done a lot of award recognitions and all, and sir has got best paper presentation under ANSYS 2014 Convergence Conference in Bangalore, and a Research Excellence Award in the year 2016 and 17 from IIT Hyderabad. And the chronological service of sir is sir has served as the assistant professor in NIT Meghalaya, followed by the top NIT called NIT Trichurapalli. Currently, sir is serving as assistant professor, and there is significance publications has been done, both international and conferences too. So 3 international journals has been published, and 11 conferences has been published. So the interesting part is sir has doing extensive research on the renewable energy systems, power electronic converters for the renewable energy systems. Welcome, sir. We are happy to introduce to our participants, and it's a great honor for us, and we believe that it will lead the light for the researchers, those who are interested to focus on their research mindset. Thank you all, sir. Please, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Chandrasekhar. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts on this topic. And I'll also like to thank you, Sarbanan, and the HOD of your department for giving me this opportunity. Before going to start my session, I request all the participants to please mute their mic, so that it will be, if you have any questions, you can raise your hand anytime. I'll pause there and I'll try to clarify your doubts. Okay. So I hope it will be an interactive session rather than a one-way process. So if you have any queries at any point of time, you can stop me. You can raise your hand and clarify your queries. Then we'll proceed. Okay. So I hope all of you are able to see my screen now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So shall we start, Chandrasekhar?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You will start, sir.
Okay. So today what I am going to discuss at this session is design of power electronic converter for renewable energy system. So before going to discuss about this topic, so my outline of the presentation will be like, what is the importance of power electronics in renewable energy system? Then I'll go, because there are so many converters and so many power electronic system, but I will let you know one of the recent converter people are many researches are going on in this type of converter, like impedance source inverter. So I'll discuss basically my prime focus on will be the impedance source inverter and its design, PWM control, and hardware implementation. So I'll discuss all these things. If you have any doubt, you can raise your hand and we will discuss. Okay. So now we'll go. What is the why we need a renewable energy system? So if you'll see from the last decades, human beings' lifestyle has been improved quite a lot. For example, if you'll see in 18th century, for sending any messages, you might have seen some old movies. At that time, the people used to, what I can say, for their love letter or some information, if they want to send, they used to use some like pigeon, right? There are so many popular movies, song also based on this, right? In many languages, all the movies, I think you might have seen. So at that time, people used to generally use these birds. But now, if you'll see in the present time, I think even post office became obsolete. I think very rarely people used to go to send any letter, specifically that a postcard or something. I think it became obsolete. Only the speed post used to come some parcels to deliver some parcel or some documents. Otherwise, nothing, no letter. We have now emails, WhatsApp, so many Facebook, so many ways, right? Now, similarly, if you see the light, another important aspect of a human being is light, right? So previously used to use, I think, London, who might be, I think, from the villages, they might have seen this at least, I hope. This kind of thing, they might have seen. Similarly, if you'll see, the another thing is what this is for this summer or during a hot season, we used to use what previously the hand fan, because at that time electricity even some of the villages has not reached. So we are dependent on this hand fan. But now you will see every here I think electricity is there, and because of that we are more using fans and ACs. If you have some financially sound, then you can use air conditioned system at your home. So similarly, if you'll see in 18th we used to use for farming, normal used to use these bullocks and whatever things, and but now we are using mostly this what technology, right? Similarly, you can see for our traveling purpose, we used to use this cart. Now we are using cars and all, right? So now, what we realize from this, if you'll see from the 18th century and now, we can see our way of life, whatever we are using, the mode, now it is changed. But by what mean it has been changed? We have to, if you are getting something, you are improving something, your lifestyle, then you have to pay something, right? So what we are paying for it? We are paying for it what? Our conserved fossil fuel. So conserved fossil fuel means it is already in the earth, below the earth, whatever the stored things are there, we are excavating and removing and utilizing it, right? So what we are using? We are using the fossil fuels and coals, or because all the needs you have seen, all the whatever the mode of technology, in one or another way, they needs the power. Power means either it can be a mechanical power or electrical power, right? So any power means it needs again fossil fuel based or coal based thing. So the World Bank reports, if you'll see, the indirect how to know a country is more developed. You can see the country, how you can know it, the more consumption, energy consumption per capita, if you'll see, then that will see, that will indirectly let you know which country is more developed. It is like, say, how to know a rich people and a poor people. A rich people, if you see a grocery, their grocery or their monthly expenditure will be more than the poor people monthly income, like that. So like that here, consumption, it is what I can see, consumption, energy consumption. That means where there those energy are going, because of these luxuries, whatever we are using for car or vehicle or lighting or electricity. So those energies are coming from the sources. So if you are using more power means energy means you are using more luxury. So that luxury will come is what means indicates how luxurious you are. So how you developed, right? So this is the way to know. So but the problem is if you okay we are luxury we are earning more money. What is the problem? Problem is if your earth below the earth surface something is already stored, right? It conserved. Now if you are it is like in a bank it is stored money without saving. If you continuously withdraw money, it will after some day it will finish. Similarly, below the earth surface, all the fossil fuels, coals or whatever it is saved from last so many years, we are dragging out or excavating and getting it more and more day by day. Then it will finish after some time, right? Because it has been created. It takes lots of year to create that thing. So if you'll see, if you'll consume the rate what we are consuming today, then if you'll see, you can see the growth, it can be replenished by 2100 means 21st century, it will be replenished. But if your growth rate, it will minimize the your whatever we are using, it will minimize to 2.2%, then it will go to 21st century. But if will with the rate of 2. Whatever growth rate of 2.6%, then it will go to 20th century. By 20th century means 2050 to 70, we may finish the whatever the conserved fossil fuels or coals. So that puts a major challenge in front of us to tackle this issue. Okay. So what to do then? What are the alternatives? So alternative is renewable energy. So what are the major source of renewable energy we can see? One is we can see hydropower, wind power and photovoltaic power. Right. So if you see the hydropower plant, for installing a hydropower plant, it's a quite difficult task, cumbersome task. Why? Because you have to take the clearance from different environmental regulatory authority, and it need to be some isolated area, right? So it requires a huge land area, and it needs the permission from Human Rights Commission, because you have to replace some of the community who are staying there, and you have to take the permission from environmental board. And at the same time, you might have noticed sometimes our rainfall, because in our country our water is mainly dependent on the rainfall, right? So if rainfall is quite high, then you cannot store that much water, then you have to release, then it may create some flood-like situation. So what I mean to say is the climatic change will affect the reservoir and the power production in the hydropower plants, right? So then the most focus should be what? Alternative renewable energy sources like the wind power and photovoltaic power, right? So if you see the wind power and photovoltaic power and all the whatever here you can see, okay. Okay. So what I mean to say here is, if you see out of all these things, only the solar and wind and hydropower, you can see which is leading now. You can see the leading is solar PV. Why leading is solar PV? Because if you might have noticed, if you might have following some electronics magazine, then you might have seen that the electronics cost price or electronics price has come down day by day drastically, right? Why it is day by day decreases? Because the increase in technology means improvement in technology. At the same time, the consumption means the demand is more. That's why, like you might have noticed, your smartphone price or your phone price is now and compared to 10 years back, because the electronics technology has been developed. At the same time, people are buying more numbers, right? So that's why here also in solar thing, we are means electronics that PV semiconductor technology has been improved a lot. At the same time, it has been demanded. This demand of the solar is more, so that's why price has come down. So that's why more installation you can see. Then, okay, now we'll use this. Suppose I'll discuss about now the solar, right? Now, what is the importance of the power transmission? How the power transmission here comes into picture? Can I means shall I connect directly to the load or I cannot? Could I connect directly to the load or not? So to know that, let us discuss, think about this thing, right? So if you'll see, whatever the renewable energy, the availability of the power, it follows some daily and seasonal patterns. For example, I take the solar thing. The solar radiation is quite different based on quite different on different seasons. For example, it is in summer, you will see more irradiation compared to the rainy season, right? And if you'll see, even in it pattern is, suppose in a daily pattern means morning is different, morning day by day means hourly it is different. Every hour the irradiation will change. So power, that's why the power is depend on the irradiation, how much solar irradiation is there. So if irradiation is changing, then power availability also will change. So the power demand by the another thing is what? The power demand by the consumers also follow different characteristic. Suppose your source is now, because of the season and daily patterns, it is changing. But the load also, whatever the consumers, they will not see the source. Okay, this source is here less power at that time. Okay, so source is giving more power. I have to connect accordingly load. It is not like that, right? So it depends on the consumer demand. In daytime, I need AC. That does not mean in night time also I don't need AC. So it depends on the consumer. Where to use how many lights or bulbs or what kind of equipments to on. So it depends on the consumers, what kind of load. So loads does not depend again the source. So all this, if you'll take into dynamics, so it is not a reliable system. So any renewable energy. So to make it reliable, what you have to use on addition to the renewable source, you have to use fuel cell or micro turbine, right? So another thing is, if your irradiation also changes, your terminal voltage of the sources also changes. And if you'll see, another thing is, suppose your renewable energy source is, some renewable energy sources produces DC power and some produces AC power. Now you cannot directly connect a DC power source to a AC load or AC source to a DC load, right? So for to avoid that, what you need to do? You need to synchronize the grid, means or load. So synchronization means what? You have to match the voltage, frequency. If it is AC system, then phase, all these things, right? So now, what I discussed just a few minutes back, if you cannot connect a PV string directly to the grid because it's a DC, while the grid is AC. Similarly, fuel cell, suppose you cannot connect to direct grid. Similarly, if your DFIG, say poor performance, why? Because gearbox DFIG is there, then again transformer grid, because you are not able to control it. Because without controlling the active and reactive power, the wind power performance will be very poor, right? So to get rid of all these issues, what we can do? We can go with this thing. Okay. So what we can do over here is, now we can use a power converter or a power conditioning system. That's why this power electronics converter, otherwise said as a power conditioning system. Why it is called like air conditioning system? Air condition your room. Like here, power conditioning system means power electronics converter condition the power. Condition means it will make favorable condition for the load or the grid. So condition means it will match the voltage. It's what kind of voltage it needs, what kind of frequency it needs, and how much phase and all, right? And how much I should extract the power. So all these needs. So that's why this power electronics converter serves all these purpose. That's why it is called as also a power conditioning system, right? So if you'll see here in a DFIG based system, previously what? If you connect directly DFIG to the grid, the performance will be very poor because you are not controlling the reactive power and active power, right? So to get the better performance, what you have to use? A back-to-back converter, whatever the conventionally people are using nowadays. You can use a AC to DC, then DC to AC, back-to-back converter, so that you can both the way bidirectional power flow and control can be achieved. Similarly, for a PV system, PV is what? Producing generally a DC source. Now, if you want to give a power to the grid or a load, AC load, then what you have to do? You have to boost the voltage and followed by a converter, because normally the PV string voltage is what? Quite low, around 38 volt and sometimes 48 volts, 60 volts, even 20 volts. So it depends on the what kind of system and what how much power rating it is designed. Okay, so based on that, your PV string also it is designed. So, but the PV string we cannot connect more number of string, means panels in the series, because of the issues of series connection like shading and other things, even open circuit fault and shading. So we don't connect much in series. We used to connect in parallel much. So because of that, the voltage rating of the string is less. Then, but the AC output is what? Quite high. So to do that, what you have to use? Either this boost DC-DC converter, it can act as a boost. Okay. Okay. So okay. So what I can say, this DC-DC converter can be utilized as what? Either boosting the voltage and also MPPT purpose. Similarly, this inverter is what? For converting DC to AC, because our load is what here? Grid or a load, AC load. So for inversion purpose, this inverter is used. Now either people are using a transformer. If they don't use this boost converter, they used to use a transformer for isolation as well as the step of the voltage, so that it can match the grid voltage, right? Then I'll discuss a little bit more about this next slide. Then if it is a fuel cell, which is a supporting source for the renewable, you cannot connect to a directly AC load. So what, again, it's a cascading, you have to do it, right? Then what is the problem? So if you'll see what any PV source can be connected, I'll discuss here mostly the PV system because of time constraints. I'll take only one source here. So let PV source, I cannot connect directly to the AC grid or AC load. So what you have to do to match the, because any PV you have to match the voltage, frequency, phase, all these things. So to do that, what you have to do, because PV string voltage is what? Around 48 volt or depends on 60 volt or 20 volt. So what you have to do, you have to first invert it. Then to match this voltage from the low voltage to high voltage, what you have to do, you have to use a step-up transformer, which will serve both the purpose, isolation as well as stepping up the voltage, which can match the grid. Now, other schematic, other configuration can be what? Because you know the transformer size for a low, if you are going to design for a low power system, you have to use basically which type of core? A normal 50 hertz core, which a ferrite, it's not a ferrite core, it's a just you know the normal frequency core, right? So CRGO core, right? So CRGO based steel core, so which is size will be bulky and heavy. But you know, if you are in a nowadays people don't prefer. For example, if you'll say even your mobile, you don't know that much heavy, right? So and people wants not that much. Some people not, if you see your charger, for example, if you see your mobile charger, if you see you remember 5 years back how much big it was, and now you'll see how much small it is. This is because of the use of power electronic system, right? So because before we used to use what it's heavy because your transformer rating was different. Now our transformer rating is quite different. So now we are using a high frequency operation, flyback type of converter or what they are using inside. So because of that, they are operating with the high frequency. So because of high frequency, your transformer size will come down. But here your frequency is very small, so transformer size will be more and heavy. So for a smaller power system, people may not prefer, right? Similarly, other things, if I'll go for, okay, this is a transformer, can I go for another thing? Yes, I can go with the other thing. I can, then what I have to use? I have to use what? A DC-DC converter, which will boost the voltage, which is able to boost the voltage. Then one, because this transformer also here acts as a boosting the voltage, right? So here what? This instead of transformer here, I am using a boost converter here, which will serve as a what? The MPPT as well as boosting the voltage. Here what? The transformer will act as what? Only the boosting the voltage, but this inverter will take care as the, in the scheme 1, inverter will take care as the MPPT. Here boost converter will take care for the MPPT, right? Then if you see what is the problem, why we are going for this thing? Why we need a, you can ask me why we cannot boost the voltage in a voltage source inverter? Why you need a transformer or a boost converter? To know that, you know, any type of inverter, if you will go, what is the relationship between the input and output? The relationship between the input and output is output voltage Vm. You can see peak AC output voltage is peak AC output voltage is your peak AC output voltage is Vm equal to M into VDC. So where M is what? Modulation index. Here M is what? Modulation index. So modulation index can vary from what? 0 to 1. Very rarely for drive application we used to go for what? Over modulation range. But otherwise we do not go for operating in over modulation range. We used to operate what? Modulation index at max 1. So if your modulation index is 1, then what is the output voltage? Peak AC output, it will be less than the input DC voltage. That means it acts as a buck converter or a step down voltage converter. So that's why we are using what? This inverter cannot boost the voltage. So we are using what? Either a transformer or a DC-DC boost converter. Either transformer after the inverter or a DC-DC converter before the inverter, to get the desired AC output voltage. Okay, then this is the case. Then what is the next thing? Is there any other issue? Yes. See, if you remember any voltage source inverter, for example, if I'll take here, this is like a DC source. I'll take an inverter with 4 switches. 4 switches inverter. A single phase has bridge inverter, right? So I'll take this inverter here. This is my load. This is what? Feeding to the load here, load, right? This is what? Load. So here load is there. Now source is here. Now how to inverter we used to operate? We used to operate this diagonal switch at a time, then operate other diagonal switch. If you want plus VDC, then you diagonal switch you turn on. If you want another polarity of voltage minus VDC, then another diagonal you turn on. And if you want 0 voltage, either top 2 switches or bottom 2 switches you turn on. Now, if you go for hardware implementation, every switch cannot, you might be know the term, the turn on delay time and turn off delay time, right? In simulation, you will not face any problem. But if you go for hardware, any switch cannot instantaneously turn on and turn off, right? So it requires some time, right? So if before this switch, suppose top switch, turn off, if you are turning on this switch, bottom switches, then this DC source will make a short circuit path through these 2 switches. So you have to ensure proper time gap between the 2 switches of a inverter leg, right? For that, what you have to give, you have to introduce some delay time, either using analog circuits like some RC circuit or some delay circuit, or through program also you can do it, right? The problem is what? You don't have this shoot through. This whenever these 2 switches are on, it will create a shoot through fault. So the term is called what? Shoot through thing. Right? False turning on both the switches, though you don't want. But if you will not give in a proper delay time, it will the switches is not have been, upper switch has not been turned off properly. By that time you have given pulse to the bottom switches, it will turn on. So because of that, it can short circuit any inverter leg. So because of that, what will happen? A shoot through fault. The term is called what? Shoot through fault. Because of that, either because it's a resistance is very less, so current will be very high. It may go beyond the limit of the current rating of the switches and the source. So it may fail both the things, right? So that's why people don't go. So what then? How to avoid that? You have to introduce a delay circuit. Delay. You have to introduce a delay between the consecutive switching pulses. But what is the if you are nothing comes from for free, right? If you are introducing delay, then something you have to pay off, right? In this world, it is like that only. So if you are using some external analog circuit or a digital delay, okay, digital delay, again it is a problem that maybe some EMI, because of EMI issues, if some false pulses it is got, then you have to use again protection circuit for these switches. On top of it, if you introduce a delay, it is what? It is creating more error to the what? Output voltage. Yes or no? Just think on this. If your simulation you are doing, if you want a plus BDC, you know you are just the modulation, simple sine triangle PWM technique, right? I'll going to discuss sometime after 1 or 2 slide. The sine triangle PWM technique, if you use, what you used to do? Whenever sine is greater than the triangle, we used to turn on the upper switches or plus BDC, and whenever it less than the triangle, minus BDC, like that, right? So the moment you want for a plus BDC and you want to turn on the switches, but you cannot turn on, you have to introduce a delay because the bottom switches is on. So that means it is inherently introducing a delay to your desired output voltage. At what time, suppose in you want the output voltage should be, but you are introducing a delay. So because of that, there may be a error in the output voltage. So because of that error, there may be a THD, more THD, thermal. There a TH means what? Total harmonic distortion, more total harmonic distortion. Because the moment you want to turn on the plus BDC, but it is not happening at that time, because you want to introduce a delay to protect the circuit. Because of that, your output voltage also getting delayed. So because of that, your output voltage also get distorted. So more THD, more your total harmonic distortion, right? More harmonics. Then what is the way out, right? So 2 issues what we have seen here in a 2-stage system. One is what? you have to use either transformer or another extra DC-DC converter, right? So if you use a transformer, it becomes a bulky system because it's a line frequency transformer. If you use a boost converter, then it's a two-stage process. One is here boost DC-DC converter, another is here inverter. So if your DC-DC converter, suppose let any DC you designed very properly, let it be 90%, and this inverter also 90%, but the overall efficiency becomes what? 80%. Because the product of two efficiency, right? 90% into 90% is 81% around, right? So efficiency is what comes down if you use more cascading of the converter because of the cascading effects. That is what one issue of the using of transformer or a DC-DC converter. But the next issue we have observed, this shoot through because of delay. To avoid this shoot through means we have to use what a shoot through to our delay circuit. To avoid this shoot through means switching on both. So is there any way out which can serve both the purpose? One is what? I don't need any extra stage of converter or a transformer. At the same time, I don't need any delay circuit. Is there any way out? Yes, there is a way out. What is that? The impedance source inverter. So this impedance source inverter, basically what this is realized or is designed single stage, what I can say, this is a single stage buck boost inverter. Any impedance source inverter is a it can buck or boost the voltage, input voltage, and at the same time invert the output voltage, right? So DC from the low voltage DC to high voltage AC in a single stage. Okay, so what I can do, what I am saying here is, so this type of converter what can boost the voltage and invert the voltage. At the same time, it don't need any delay circuit because it will utilize the shoot through state instead of avoiding that state, right? So that it is like one bullet two hunting, right? So we can do it. So then how to do it, right? And what are these examples of this type of circuits? You might have heard, I think who might have doing some little bit research, they might have heard about this Z source inverter, quasi Z source inverter from 2006 onwards. It's quite popular, right? You might have seen any issue of journals, one or two, at least 2 or 3 journals paper will be of this topic. Okay, so the single stage buck boost inverter, right, or impedance source inverter. So the varieties are what? Some Z source, quasi Z source inverter. So what are the impedance source converters? If we classify, it can be a DC-DC converter, it can be a DC-AC type, it can be AC-AC, it can be AC-DC. So I will discuss here what? A DC-AC type, inverter type. So it can be a 2-level, it can be a multi-level, or it can be a hybrid type converter, right? So I will discuss about the 2-level and multi-level type of this DC-AC impedance source converter because of the time constraint. Okay. So you can ask me now, sir, basically, okay, you are saying this, I don't need now 2 stage of converter. At the same time, I don't need this delay circuit. Rather, I will utilize the shoot through instead of avoiding the shoot through state or shoot through case. I will utilize that. Then how to do that? How this converter came up into mind? Correct? Because as a basic understanding, we should know before going to do any research or anything. We should understand the basics, right? So if you want to understand the basics, I'll discuss some of the basic impedance source inverter like Z source, quasi Z source, and it's a multi-level impedance source type, right? So to understand this Z source inverter, you need a prior understanding of the voltage source inverter and a DC-DC converter. So the basic understanding of a voltage source inverter means what are the different states it operates. So if you notice, it basically operates in what? Active state. What do you mean by active state? Active state means when the output voltage is either plus VDC or minus VDC. Got it? What I mean to say is what? Either plus VDC or minus VDC, right? So, and why it is called active state? Because during this state, power is transferred from your source to load. That's why it is called active state. What is the next state? What is different mode of operation? One is active state, another is what? Zero state. Zero state means what? At this point, no power will be transferred from the load to, source to the load. Rather, what it will happen? The voltage will be across the load is what? Zero. So how is to do it? Either you switch on both the top switches or bottom switches, then it will be achieved. So normally this voltage source inverter operates in this two state. So in active state, what? Any two diagonal switches will be on, and the power is transferred from the load to source, source to the load, and voltage is what? Based on the switches, either which switches are on, based on that, whether it is plus VDC or minus VDC, it will be decided. Now, what is the other state which is I discussed earlier, which is avoided here? The shoot through state. By introducing what? By adding a delay circuit or introducing a delay in the pulses using a digital controller, right? So what is the shoot through state? Why I am saying it is also it is a zero state, shoot through zero state? Because during this state, the voltage across the load also will become zero, but it will make the shoot through. It will short circuit the source. So because of that, here it may go the current rating of this current flow. It will what? The source will short circuit current will be flowing with a very high, which may be beyond the switch rating, right? So what is the difference between this normal zero state and the shoot through zero state? Both the case we are getting the output voltage zero, but one case out current from the source is what? Zero, whereas the other case current is what? It is a short circuit current, it's a fault current, right? So that is the difference. Otherwise, voltage, both the case voltage across the load is what? Zero. Now we have to simultaneously, to go to understand the Z source inverter, we have to simultaneously see what? A normal boost DC-DC converter. How this normal boost DC-DC converter operates? When the switch is on for a DTS time period, DTS duration, it will inductor will energize, and the voltage across the switch is what? Zero, and the other time what? At the other time what? During 1 minus DTS, my what I can say is this switch is what? Off. Then the voltage across the switch is nothing but this DC link voltage. What is the capacitor voltage? Now, if I notice these two, if I observe all these two things, when this switch is off, the voltage across the switch is what? Nothing else, DC link voltage. Similarly, it is similar to the active state. When the switch SWR, it is voltage across the load is what? Nothing but this DC link voltage, and switch SW1 and SW2 is on. And voltage across the switch is zero, and what it is equivalent to what? Shoot through zero state. At that time what? Voltage across the switch is zero, but load voltage is also zero. Right? So now what I can do here is, can I replace this switch with my inverter leg? What I'll do, I'll replace this switch with inverter leg. Okay. So what can be done? This inverter leg can be replaced with, because this switch can be mimicked, because it will not affect, we'll see the load per se, it will not affect the what? The DC-DC converter operation. If I'll replace this switch S with this inverter leg, it will not affect the DC-DC converter operation, because if I'll this inverter leg, if I'll place it here, then if I'll switch on both the switches, it will act as the switch is on. When both the switches are off, then this diode will be conducting, then power is transferred to the load, right? So I can mimic this thing. Actually, I don't know why the screen, that's why I'm okay. Why this it is not coming? Okay, anyway. Okay. Okay, so can I mimic now this switch with this inverter leg? So to do that, what you have to do, so that my DC-DC converter operation will not be affected. So what I have to do, I have to replace this switch with this inverter leg. Now if I'll see the operation, how this operates, if both the switches are on, then it is equivalent to this DTS period. Inductor will charge and this diode will be what, reverse biased, because both the switches are on. Then voltage load will be supplied by this capacitor. Now when this opposite diagonal switches are on, then the voltage across this AC load is nothing but the capacitor voltage. And when the shoot through state, when all the switches in the inverter leg are on, it is equivalent to what? It is equivalent to the what I mean to say is this state, if you are on it, it is equivalent to this state, right? And if I opposite diagonal switch is on, it is equivalent to this state. So that means if I can observe here, I can see that this inverter leg, this switch can be replaced with this inverter leg, so that my boost converter operation will not be affected. Okay, so if we go with this, then what? How to do operation? Do it like this. How to ensure that this converter is not affected. So the output of this voltage output is what I can say here is I don't know why this lower part is not visible. Okay. Okay. See, can see my this bottom part is visible to you? Hello, Chandrasekhar.
Yes, sir. It is, sir.
Yeah. Okay. It's a full screen, right?
Yes, sir. It is pre-or it is visible, sir.
No. I'm asking about the bottom equations and all. Is it visible to you?
The bottom files and all visible, sir.
Oh, that's what I wanted to actually. Can I once more share? I think some problem with this share, I think.
Okay. I'll correct it, sir.
1 second. I'm doing. No problem.
Okay.
Okay. Now is it visible?
Yes, sir. It is full screen now.
Okay. No. Okay. Okay. Now, so what we can say here is now. See here VM is what? If I'll go with this, then what is the VC here? If I'll go with normal boost converter, VC is what? VDC into 1 minus D. VDC by 1 minus D, right? Now, if I'll go with this, if I'll introduce a inverter leg with in the switches, then what will happen? Because this load, AC load, is it will see what kind of DC link voltage. It will not see the VDC. It will see what? Either VDC plus inductor voltage, average inductor voltage, means inductor voltage at that instant, or it will see the capacitor voltage, right? So the during active state, what voltage it is seeing? that voltage into the modulation index is what? The output voltage. So during active state means what? Opposite diagonal switches are on. At that time, diode will be conducting. So it is equivalent to the active state here. It is equivalent to the state. Active state is nothing but to the during 1 minus dts period. So if it, then what is the DC link voltage it is seeing? It is seeing the capacitor voltage. And the capacitor voltage what we have seen? VDC by 1 minus D. So if I will do this, then it will come as M into VDC by 1 minus D. Right. Then how to do is a PWM control, because you have to go PWM control, right? The switches. So to do that, what you have to do? I am explaining here with a basic sine triangle. You can go with the space vector and other technique. But for a basic understanding, I have taken a sine and triangle. So what you have to do? It's a sine triangle PWM technique. We used to compare a sine wave with the triangle wave. Whenever sine is more than the triangle, then it is the active state. You can see here. This is what sine is. I have taken a small one triangle only, and I have extended it so for your better understanding. So you will see here, whenever sine is more than the triangle, this is active state, and when the sine is less than the triangle, it is what? Zero state. Now, what you have to do? You have to introduce shoot through to boost the voltage. If I discussed here, see, we have a zero state here, but if you want the boosting the voltage, you have to switch on completely, right? You have to short circuit this in the means you have to analyze this inductor L by completely switching on. So what is the shoot through here? If I want to do this state here, you have to turn on both the switches. That is nothing but the shoot through state. So if you have to turn on both the switches, then that is called what? Shoot through state. That is will be DTS period, right? So how much duration? That depends on the DT, how much duty ratio you want to operate. So that is what here shoot through state. How much time you want to energize the inductor. So here I have used a constant pulse shoot through period because I want to make the DC link voltage constant. So that's why a DC voltage constant. So I have duty ratio also I have made it constant, right? So remaining is what? If it is sine is less than triangle also, apart from it's a normal zero state, right? So if you go with this, this is what the thing. But what is the condition you have to follow? You have to follow M plus modulation index. What is the height of the your carrier your modulating signal? Your height of the modulating signal is what? M. Here I have taken. Let it is M. Height of the modulating signal, amplitude of the modulating signal. Then the duty ratio is how much max I can use. Remaining part out of the height of the triangle. Let here what I have taken the height of the triangle is 1. Then if your height of the triangle is 1, if your modulating index maximum is M, then how much is duty ratio? What should be the relation? Your M plus duty ratio D should be 1 less than or equal to 1. Otherwise, it will be overlapping of the shoot through state with the active state. To avoid that, here this condition you should follow. This is very important. Okay. So, okay, you can ask me, sir. Okay, if we'll go with this, okay, we can do this. But whether really we are able to boost the voltage? Okay, with the same converter, this can be operated as a DC-DC. Simultaneously, it is acting as a DC-DC converter and inverting the voltage. But really, is it really operate boosting the voltage? Input DC voltage and inverting it. To know that, let us go to the again the expression of output voltage. What we have derived for this type of thing? We have derived Vm equal to what? M into Vc, which is M into Vdc by 1 minus D. Correct? So what is the value of duty ratio or a modulation index can be at max? Modulation index at max can be what? 1 minus duty ratio. So if I put this value M equal to 1 minus D, then your output voltage is maximum at max what? VDC. So after digging a mountain, we are getting a small rat. It's I think some of the proverb is there in every I think languages, right? If you dig so much work but getting a mouse at the end, it's not a quite idea, right? But okay, but your result is not what you achieved, but you know the way of digging a mountain, right? Like here, we learned how to make any DC-DC boost converter to a single stage inverter, right? We'll utilize this idea to make it boost inverter with another type of converter, right? Called a Z source inverter, right? This is come into picture. What? To understand this Z source inverter, I discussed till now the basic fundamental, right? Now, how to this Z source inverter came into picture is, if you will see in 1986, there is a converter, basic converter is like this, right? So, what I want to, again, one more observation I want to tell you over here is, see, this out of this converter, means converter, what is that DC voltage gain thing? Here is the DC, VDC by 1 minus D, right? So, because of here M is 1 minus D maximum, it is cancelling each other, right? If I take some converter whose gain is, or in a denominator part is becoming smaller than this part, then it can boost, right? So that is the thing behind basic logic behind taking another DC-DC converter, which is what more voltage gain this DC-DC converter, basic boost converter, right? So if you will see this converter, it is using 2 inductor and 2 capacitors and 2 switches, right? So here S2, when S1 and S2 are operates complementarily, when S2 is on, it will energize both the inductor, capacitor will energize the inductors, okay, and this capacitor also supply power to the load, right, and energize the inductor. So during 1 minute DTS, what it is, what I can say is, inductor is energized, your capacitor is energized by the inductor and source. It is like during DTS period, whatever energy stored in the capacitor, it is energizing the inductor and supplying power to the load. And during 1 minute DTS period, the inductor energy stored in the inductor is dumped back to the capacitor along with the DC source. You can see both these things. And if it is, you know, the by voltage volt second balance, I can find out the voltage of the capacitor, right? Like this. Now, if I will see by looking at the current and voltage direction of S1 and S2, I can realize this converter with the rear switches. I can replace the switches S1, S2 with this. How I have realized this S1 with diode and S2? By knowing how it's only current is one direction and voltage it has to block also in one direction. So S1 can be replaced with a diode. Similarly, S2 is what? It has to carry, it has to allow the current to flow in both the direction, and voltage it has to block in one direction. So I can replace with any IGBT with antiparallel or a MOSFET. Now, can I use this converter for my boosting purpose, boost inverter, make it? So if you to understand that, what I can say, we have discussed in the last, whatever the switch is operated with the DTS period, I was using a inverter leg there. You see, just few one slide back, what we have discussed, the our normal DC-DC converter, the switch is which is operated, that middle switch is operated with DTS period, I am replacing with the inverter leg. Here also, the switch out of S1 and S2, which is operated with period DTS, I will replace with inverter leg, right? So I can now replace. So before going to discuss that, I can just what I have done here for your better understanding. What I have arranged. Just this is the converter. I have rearranged the switches. Just I pulled out of the switch S2 to right side and S1 is here, right? Now what here, which switches is operated with DTS period? Here S2 is operating with DTS period. So S2 can be replaced with what? Now inverter leg. You can see here, now S2 is can be replaced with inverter leg. So DTS period, how it will be achieved? It will be achieved by turning on both the switches of an inverter leg. Then this DC-DC part, operation part will not be affected. And simultaneously, it will also invert the output voltage, right? So if I'll discuss this, the detailed operation of the converter. So what I can say over here is, it is operated basically what? Three state: active state, zero state, shoot through. This shoot through is for what? Boosting the voltage, right? So how it operates? During active state is normally what? DC power will be supplied to the from the source to the DC source to the load, AC load, right? So power is what? That's why I can switch on either SW1 and SW2 or SW3, SW4, opposite any diagonal two switches. Now, why I have represented this switch means load with a single means current source? Because for better understanding, I have taken a single sample of a triangle, right? One triangle, and you know any inductive load, for a single sample of load, inductive load does not, inductive means current does not change much, right? Current inertia is there. So I can say that I can represent then this load with a current source, right? Now, what I can, okay, this active state is what? It is equivalent to the power is transferred from the source to the load. So like here, so what is to on? Either SW1 and SW2 or opposite, any diagonal two switches are on, right? So by this way, what this VDC and VDC and capacitor, what it will happen? VDC and capacitor what will energize these inductors, and the capacitor also parallelly supply power to the load. Now it is normal to the any DC-DC converter, right? In DC-DC converter also what? During 1 minus DTS period, your source is what? Supply power to the means your switch AC is off, means source is supply power to the load, source and capacitor, right? Supply power to the load. Similarly here, your source and capacitor supplies power to the load as well as energize the inductor. Sorry, I mean to say your source and inductor energize the capacitor as well as supply power to the load, right? Here zero state means what? You have to turn on either top two switches or bottom two switches. Normal zero state. So we have to turn on both the top switches or bottom two switches. In this, but the DC part is what? Will be same. It will what? Your DC, BDC and capacitor. Sorry, BDC and inductor. Your source and inductor will what? Energize the capacitor as well as supply power to the load. So during active state and normal zero state, either inductor is what? Discharges or de-energized, and capacitor is what? Energized. Now what is the shoot through state? In shoot through state, this capacitor, whatever the energy stored, it will energize the inductor, and source power is not supplied to the load because it is short circuited, right? Your load is now short circuited, so whatever the load will be only circulating, current will be here, okay, because you know you cannot disconnect the load path. If it is an inductive load, then it is a problem. So anyway, you have to give a path. So load will get a path, but it's a short circuit path, so voltage is 0, so power consumption by the load is 0, and you will see through the short circuit your capacitor is energized the inductor. So you will see this PWM control strategy here. What we can see here, I am having, you know, you used to do what? A sine triangle, right? Sine triangle PWM. So whenever sine is greater than the triangle, your active state, either opposite two diagonal switches you have to turn on, any two, whether you need plus BDC or minus BDC. Then when this I need shoot through what? For boosting the voltage, so that will be decided by how much VST amplitude, and remaining part is what? Normal zero state. This is the, now if you will do this thing, because I am not interfering this boost part, so the capacitor voltage can be derived as VDC by 1 minus 2D all into 1 minus D. And the DC link voltage is what? During active state, how much it is seeing? VDC by 1 minus 2D. Because DC link voltage means during active state, it is the sum of the capacitor voltage plus the inductor voltage. If you will add it, then it is what? VI plus VD, VI is DC link voltage VDC by 1 minus 2D. So what will be my output voltage then? Output voltage is what? Modulation index into the DC-link voltage at the active state. So M into VDC by 1 minus 2D. Now, what is my condition? D M plus D should be what? Less than equal to MET. Even if you put that, it will be boosting. M plus D, if you put also that, it can boost the voltage. I think in the next slide I'll show you what is the voltage gain versus profile. But what is the converter? See, okay, we are what is the drawback of this type of converter? If you'll see here, the input side, a diode is there. As we have seen, the diode based on the converter operation, diode is what? Is during shoot through period, it is what? Turned off. Because of that, reverse bias, so because it turned off. So because of that, your input current is what? Becoming discontinuous, which is not a desirable thing for a PV application and a DC battery application, EPS application, because it's a hammering effect, right? A lots of harmonics it will introduce in the source, right? So to get rid of that, we'll discuss another converter after 2-3 minutes. Okay. Other than that, no issue. Okay, we can boost the voltage and get the AC out. Means in a single stage we can boost the voltage and get the IC output. You can ask me, sir, okay, why you are always making this a constant boost? We can go with what boost this duty ratio is constant. Cannot I use complete zero state? Because I have divided into zero state in two parts, zero state and shoot through zero state. Because I want to use a particular dedicated part for a constant width for a shoot through. Why cannot I use complete zero state for a boosting the purpose? Yes, we can utilize it. Okay, but the problem is, I'll tell you. So this is what a constant, if you'll go for 3-phase system, this is what I told you, na, this 3 sine wave we can take modulating signal, and this is my carrier constant. This is a constant width. You can see whenever this shoot through period is, you can see this middle period, whatever this period are shoot through, decided by the shoot through state. These periods during shoot through about these periods, then that's what you can shoot through here, but shoot through period is constant. But you can ask me, sir, why to make this constant? Because you can see here all the period I can get. Remember, more period also I can get it. I can more time I can utilize for boost the period, though it is varying sinusoidal, right? So how to do that? If we'll go with that. Okay, this is as I discussed, output voltage. Okay, if we'll go with this peak voltage, if we'll plot this modulation index versus the voltage gain, how much this converter, Z source converter, I can see here. See, with the modulation index. See, one more important observation I can tell you here. What is the output voltage of a Z source converter? It's the M into VDC by 1 minus 2D, right? Now, your duty ratio what? 1 minus 2D means how much is the maximum duty ratio can be? Your maximum duty ratio can be what? Less than equal to 0.5, right? Because if you go more than 0.5, this denominator part will become negative. So your polarity of the DC, again it becomes opposite. So again isolation problem will be coming, right? So to get rid of that, we have to operate the duty ratio is less than 0.5, right? Now, as I discussed here, we are using a constant. This is, you can see a constant. This constant signal is used for what? Getting the constant shoot through duty ratio D. Now, if we plot this modulation index, because M plus D equal to 1, I have also the how much voltage I can get. If you will see modulation index, what I can operate more than 0.5, because your D should be less than 0.5. Your modulation index also what should be more than 0.5. If I do this, then what it will happen is you will see the plot is, you can see the operating region will be here. So the converter can be operated like this in this region. So you can optimally choose the shoot through duty ratio and modulation index to get the voltage. Now, you can ask me, sir, why to go? Just few minutes back I was saying, right? So why I will use a constant duty ratio? Why cannot I use let the complete duration as a shoot through? If I use a complete duration as a shoot through, that means this period as a shoot through, then it will vary what? Cycle to cycle it will vary shoot through duration. Suppose here it is something duration, here what? Some more duration, then here what? Again some more duration. Like that it is varying, here again more duration. So this duration of shoot through period is what? Varying sinusoidally. Okay, so because of that your boost duty ratio also, average duty ratio also will vary sinusoidally with a average is this thing, and this is the instantaneous value. So if I put this value, I can get the boost factor is what? This much. 1 by 1 minus 2d is this much. Okay. Now, if I plot this modulation index versus this gain, you can see, it is having higher voltage gain compared to the normal constant duty ratio. And the modulation index should be what? Here more than pi by 3 root 3. Which is definitely what I can say less means greater than the model. You can operating modulation index is more, right? So the operating region is, I can say here, if you plot this operating modulation index versus the voltage gain, you can plot this. This is the my thing. So what is the maximum modulation? What is the minimum modulation index should be? Minimum is what? Pi by 3 root 3. That's what. Pi by 3 root 3. Right. So if I see the compare both the PWM control, one is constant boost control method and another is maximum boost control method. You can see, for example, if I take the voltage gain of suppose 4, suppose I want to 4 times boost the voltage and invert it. What is the voltage stress? Because ultimately voltage gain means what? It is voltage, how much voltage is boosting across the DC link, right? And DC link voltage is nothing but the voltage across the switches. So the voltage across the switches means what? The voltage across the means stress, voltage stress across the switches, right? So if you see, suppose I want to 4 times boost the voltage, because this converter will be what? Operating for more than 2 times the voltage gain, right? So if you see, if you let my voltage gain is 4, then what is the voltage stress? You can see 5.5 around. But if you go with this thing, what is the voltage stress across the? Is the 7 times of the input voltage. So my maximum boost control is better. That means if I don't use a constant pulse, constant duration per shoot through, if I use a variable period per shoot through, I can get a better voltage gain, so that my stress will come down, voltage stress. But what is the problem? If you'll ask me, what is the problem? Because nothing will come for free, right? You have to pay something. Something you are getting means you have to pay something. So what is the pay you have to do for that? If you are using if you want to go for less voltage stress, the second case like maximum voltage control method, what you have to do? You have to utilize. You have to use more capacitor value, because you need what? That DC link voltage is what? Should be more or less constant. So that means you have to filter out the frequency components, right? High frequency component. So to do that, you have to use a better filter of the, because here filter is what? Capacitor. Input side is filter is what? Capacitor. So you have to use a higher value of capacitor, right? Then problem is solved. Okay. Now, as I discussed earlier, this Z source converter is what? Current is what? Discontinuous. I think I have another 10 minutes. I'll try to wind up. Okay. So what we have seen here, our Z source converter is what? A current is everything we are able to boost to the voltage and everything can be done. But the input current is what? Discontinuous in nature because of the diode at the input side. Now the alternative version is what? Quasi Z source inverter. You might have also came across this converter. So how it is realized? This converter is realized. You can see here a quasi Z source converter can be realized from this DC-DC converter. So here S1 and S2 also operate complementarily. You will see here S1 is what I can take. S1 is what operated with duty ratio DTS, right? You will see here S1 is operated with duty ratio DTS. That's why I have S1 switch I have replaced with what? Inverter leg. Now you can see this is also operated in the active state, 0 state and shoot through 0 state like the Z source converter. Okay, I am not because of time constraint I am not discussing, but it is same as the Z source, right? If you derive the voltage gain formula, here what Vm equal to what M into VDC by same as the Z source converter, right? Now as I said, I will discuss also what this is up to here 2 level voltage we are discussing, right? Now can we go with what for a low power or medium power application? Can we go with at least 3 level output voltage to again further reduce my filter requirement? So what is the motivation behind for going with multi-level impedance source converter? If I want to say what is the motivation I can get? So my motivation is what my instantaneous error, any multi-level converter if I go, my instantaneous error between the required sinusoidal voltage and the generated out voltage will be minimized, right? What are the other, if I go with this thing, then what is the advantages I will get also? My voltage stress also will come down because you are, why voltage stress will come down? Because you are clamping individual voltage. So voltage across individual switches will be less. So my dB by dt rating also will be come down. As we are getting as instantaneous error between the required sinusoidal voltage and generated out voltage with the help of multi-level converter coming down, your THD also will come down. And your THD if come down, your filter requirement also will come down. Now, if your filter requirement also will come down and the THD come down, then I can allow the converter to operate with a lower switching frequency, right? Because normally we used to operate the higher switching frequency because to take all the harmonics to the higher order, right? So, but if you go with higher switching frequency, it will introduce what? Switching loss. So to get rid of that, can we go with low switching frequency? By we can go with what? Low switching frequency by opting this multi-level converter, right? But as I said, again this multi-level normal voltage source converter, whatever existing, again it will face the similar problem of shoot through. Again it cannot boost the input voltage. You have to either cascaded a DC-DC voltage or a inverter. Now can we go with a single, this type of whatever I have discussed, single stage buck boost impedance source inverter of multi-level inverter type? Yes, we can go with that. So what are the basic 2 examples? I can go, one is what? NPC type Z source inverter and NPC type quasi Z source inverter. So NPC type Z source inverter, what? Current will be discontinuous, but we will get the 3 level output voltage. Here quasi Z source is the advantage in Z source inverter. Here current is what? Continuous in nature, right? So how to operate? You have to either top 2 switches on for plus VDC, bottom 2 switches for minus VDC, and 0 voltage is what? Middle 2 switches for 0 voltage. But on top of that, what you have to do? You have to go for what? Shoot through state also to boost the voltage of the DC link. So to do that, what you have to go for what? On top of 0 state, shoot through 0 state. So for that, what you have to do? All the switches in an inverter leg you have to turn on. So that is the only difference, this operation of the converter, nothing else, right? Much. So, but if you see, this is what NPC, right? 3 level you will get. Again, with the increasing number of levels, you can again converter connect like this, right? Now, another variety of this thing was cascaded type, right? So, cascaded is a better choice because you will get more number of levels, and by like a normal converter, it can be also operated normal voltage source. Only the additional state is what? Shoot through 0 state, right? But what is the drawback of this type of converter? You need isolated DC sources, right? But isolated DC sources nobody will prefer to give you, right? So because it's difficult, right? All the sources again you need different grounds and all, right? So grounding issue will be there and so many things, right? So what are the next thing? Okay, if you increase the number of increase in number of voltage level, your input side, if you see input side inductor and capacitor, input side inductor and capacitor numbers are quite increasing, because every number of levels you are increasing, your input side capacitor and inductor you have to add. But you know, these inductors are what? High frequency inductors, and capacitor also of high frequency, because it has to handle the high frequency. So the cost also is not that much less. It is higher. Any high frequency inductor, you might be knowing, who are buying the inductor, they might be knowing, it is quite costly. So cost, if you go with higher the number of levels, you have to use what? More number of inductor and capacitor, so it will increase the cost, right? So to get rid of that, what you have to go for LC switch kind of thing, right? So LC switch means what? We have to reduce the main objective within this converter is what? Can we use, instead of this passive components capacitor, can I use active switch such that my cost inductor and capacitor requirement will come down? So that is nothing but what? How to do that? That is nothing but LC switch multi-level inverter. So how I'll realize, we'll realize that I'll discuss in next slide. So the basic objective of this thing is what? We are minimizing the passive components by utilizing one active switches. You know, this active switches cost also now is not that much. It is come down very drastically. So cost of active switches won't be that much like a inductor, high frequency inductor. So we can minimize by that way cost, right? So we will see the switches now, how this operates. The converter, this bridge converter, if you see, I think most of people might be knowing about this bridge converter, DC-DC converter. Here, this S1, S2 act as a pair, S1, S2 and S3, S4 acts as a pair. That means S1 and S2 operate simultaneously, and S3 and operates complementary to this S1 and S2. Means S3 and S4 operates simultaneously. So if you see here, S1 and S2 operates with D2 AC at DTS, and S3 and S4 with 1 minus DTS. If I go with the volt second balance, the capacitor voltage will be what? Like this. Capacitor voltage will be here. Okay. So your capacitor voltage will be here. Now, just I am rearranging the circuit. After see these switches, I can what? Realization can be done, as I said earlier, by looking at the current direction and voltage direction. The switches can be realized. What kind of switch will you use? After switching realization, it can be replaced like this. Now, what I have said earlier, whatever switches are operated with DTS with DTS period, those switches can be replaced with what? Inverter leg, like this. Here what? S1 and S2 are operated with duty ratio. So I can, and I can see I have shifted the load here, right? Because I have to replace the load with a AC load. Now, if you will see this converter, how it operates. This operates what? I can see this S1 and S2 when are on means this is shoot through, equivalent to shoot through. SW1 and SW all are on, and when S1 and S2 off means it is equivalent to the non-shoot through state or active state. Now if you will see, realize these two, if you will see, observe these two converter, two types of DC-DC converter, you can see this is the two converter which has been finally realized, right? This is the final two converter are realized, these two inverter, right? Now if you will see here, this is our what? Mirror image of each other, right? More or less. Then can I combine these two converter to make a 3-level inverter? Yes, we can make it. So basically this converter is realized from the converter like this. So which can boost the voltage at the same time give a 3-level AC output voltage. So how the converter operates? It operates in active state, zero state, and shoot through state. During active state, what you can, during active state, what is the operation? BDC will supply power to the means BDC and inductor supply power to the capacitor and the load. If it is plus BDC, then top switches, it is minus BDC, then bottom. And diode D1 and D2 will be conducting, right? Now what is that zero state? It's the between the two means these two are will be on, so that my pole voltage will be 0. Then what is the capacitor? What is the state? It is same as the inductor and capacitor state is same as the active state during this zero state. What is the shoot through zero state? During this, what inductor will energize from the capacitor and DC source. You can see here, this capacitor and DC source can be energized. Got it? So what is the difference between this active state and this zero state? Active state is what? Power is transferred from the source to the load, and inductor and DC source energizing the capacitor and supplying power to the load. Whereas in this zero state, power is transferred to the load is 0, but BDC and inductor is energizing the capacitor. Then what is the difference between this shoot through state and zero state? The difference is here inductor is de-energizing, whereas shoot through state it is energizing, and capacitor is de-energizing, right? So this is the switching pattern. You can see 3 switching pattern. Okay. So if I'll derive the voltage across the capacitor by seeing the volt second balance across the inductor, then this is the voltage across the capacitor. Then we know what is the AC output voltage. It is nothing but the DC link voltage. So DC link voltage here is what? Capacitor voltage. So Vm equal to what? M into Vc. This is the thing. So what is the voltage gain? Then M into 1 minus D. So if I plot this M versus D versus voltage gain G, you can see, you can choose optimally what is the value you should use. Now if I want to design the inductor, you can see I can design the inductor here, L1 and L2, and capacitor C1 and C2. So you can see this inductor design depends on what? How much ripple and how much TS means what? Time period of this carrier signal, which is nothing but the frequency. How much frequency, operating frequency you are utilizing, and how much ripple you want to do, for how much ripple you want to design. Similarly, capacitor can be designed. Now for the PWM control, it is same as like the constant shoot through method, constant shoot through duty ratio control method. And here what, like that VA, VB, VC are 120 degree apart. Then you just compare with the sine wave with the triangle wave. Then do it appropriately, like I have discussed earlier. Then here the experimental result that we have conducted. So we have taken 48 volt DC input, and we have boosted to the 110 volt RMS or 156 peak voltage. And the inductor value we have taken 6 millihenry, and capacitor is 200,000 microfarad for a 220 watt load. You can see here this is the input current, is a continuous current, and the capacitor voltage stabilized, and this is the output pole voltage, this is the line voltage, this is the phase voltage, and the phase current. Okay, and if you see here is the hardware implementation. Here as I said, it's the voltage is high, so I have used what diodes, what these diodes are operated what at high frequency. So this is normal power diode is what is the rate? We have used MUR 860G type. And what is this type of diode? IN4001. This is utilized for designing the gate driver. Because for the gate driver, for designing isolated power supply, we have used this type of diode. And the DC voltage regulator for designing the power source for the gate driver. This IGBT is what you have seen the switches. These are the switches whatever here discussed earlier. Those inverter leg switches or inverter that impedance source network switches is the IGBTs. So this is with the anti-parallel diode. This is without anti-parallel diode of IGBTs. This is a gate driver we have used. This is a buffer IC. So at the conclusion, what I can say, this type of impedance source inverter for renewable energy source for low and medium power application can be utilized, because you don't need any two stage of converter, or you don't need any transformer. Okay, so you need only a simple impedance source converter which can push the voltage at the same time invert the output, and it can also give a multi-level converter. So if you use active switch, you can further reduce the number of passive components, as we discussed in the LC switch type of converter. Okay. As the current is continuous, now we can utilize for the fuel cell, EPS, PV systems. Okay, experimental also can be done. So I am ready to now take any questions if you have.
Hello. Hello.
Chandrasekhar, sir. Mr.
Hello,
Chandrasekhar.
sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Chat
Sorry,
box.
I was a little bit network problem. Okay. So
Okay,
now
okay.
you tell me questions. Any questions? I'm ready to take it.
Yes, sir. It's audible now, sir.
Uh-huh.
Yes, Chandrasekhar, check for the chat box. If any queries they posted in this participants, please
Okay.
read the questions.
Okay, sir. I'll check it and I'll read, sir.
Okay. Okay.
So, respected participants, can you please mute your mics?
Yeah, I'll share the PP. I have already shared the PPTs. You can okay.
Sir, may I ask the question, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, this is Sharma from Matrushi Engineering College, sir. Sir, when we are using these different types of inverters like NPC, capacitor clamped, cascade, hybrid jet source, sir, for PV applications. So in the one study, it is observed that the THD for jet source and quasi jet source is more compared to NPC and hybrid inverters, sir. But efficiency point of view, they are somewhat more dominating. But
Yes,
topology point of view, quasi jet source and jet source are better when compared to the basic inverters. But how to reduce this THD also when you are using for PV systems, sir?
Yes. That's what.
Especially jet source and quasi.
Correct. I'll try to clarify these things. Okay. See, whatever you said, it is correct. If you are comparing a normal voltage source converter of NPC type or a multi-level type or anything, it's THD is better than the normal jet source converter 2 level, right? So because why it is coming like that? Because our switching frequency is quite high, and we are introducing some Sutur state inside that. So because of that, it might be introducing because of switching high number of high switching. So it might be introducing little bit harmonics. So now you are saying it's a problem for a PV system. Yes, I agree. Now what we can do is now for that we can go for what multi-level this impedance source inverter, multi-level jet source type, multi-level quasi jet source type, right? So like that we can go for multi-level type. But if you have see, as I discussed, if we'll go with multi-level jet source and quasi jet source type, the number of passive components will be more. But if you want to reduce the passive components, you can use this LC switch type of multi-level inverter, right? Okay. Any other questions?
Sir, there is one question.
Uh-huh.
So participant is asking, sir, could you please suggest a procedure to identify any specific gap to start research work? As a beginner, I need suggestion from your side. Please.
Okay, it's a good question. So what I mean to say is, if you are a beginner, first you try. I think can you someone please mute your mic?
So participants, can you somebody mute your mics, please?
Yeah. So what I mean to say here is, I think some Vishwara Kante. Okay. Now, what if you want to do a find like research gap? What you have to do here is you have to first thing is what you have to suppose you choose a particular research topic, right? Then you see last 1 or 2 year what is the current means what is the updated work has been done last 2-3 years in that area. That you can find out from the IEEE Explorer or Google Scholar. You can choose the year there, then you can filter it out on the current papers, right? After finding out the current papers, then you may not able to understand those papers, right? Then you have to backtrack those things, right? Why this paper, why they have done this work? To know that, you have to do some basic understanding, why they have come. You have to backtrack, right? Then you will find out what is the missing, what they see. As I said, every technology, nothing is perfect in this world, right? If you are doing something, you have to pay something, right? So what they are addressing and what because of that what they are facing problem, that problem they may not mention in the explicitly in the paper, that you have to find it out by reading the back before whatever backtracking means old papers, what they try to address. They might have addressed one problem, but if they address the one problem, other problem will be coming out. So that you have to see. Then you have to work on that. Like that you have to work the research as a beginner. Okay. Anything? Any questions?
So participant, you can paste one more question if you want.
Yeah.
Suppose participants, if you want any directly ask the question also, you unmute your audio and ask the questions and ask your questions. Dear participants, already the feedback link is posted in the chat box as well as your WhatsApp group. It will be enabled up to 2 o'clock. Better to complete the feedback link before 2 o'clock.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So may I know the inverters which are used in electrical vehicles in real time, sir? And latest updates and latest scope in inverter side. We want suggestions from you, sir.
Oh, see, if you want to go for real life, means whatever now currently using, right? Currently, whatever the people are using in an industry, it's a normal H-bridge type inverter, right? They don't go with more than that because they want to go for reliable, right? So, reliability point of view, H-bridge is the best inverter you can utilize now. Okay. If you are going for practical, if you want to develop your own electric vehicle, but from a research point of view, you can do many things, right? Which can come after 10 years, right? For a real life, means a real world. Because any industry that don't go for the research thing, they will go which can run 24/7. Okay, so that's why they don't go for all these many things. They will go for basic things. Okay, that I want to tell you. Simply H-bridge they used to go. Okay. What resource inverter? Okay. Any other questions?
So participant, is there any questions?
Sir, one more question, sir.
Yeah. Sure.
When it comes to the levels, sir, you told H-bridge, okay. When it comes to the levels, practically in real time, till now.
2 level.
Okay, but when it comes to literature, we will, yes,
correct.
Sir.
But see, literature means research can be 10 years ahead, right?
Okay.
Because at that time, our many technology might have developed. Okay, many protection circuit might have developed. So at that time we can use. But for the time being, in the electric vehicle, basically 2 level they used to use. Okay, inverters. But some other drives application they used to go for 3 level inverter. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So is there questions? Still we have 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not working, sir.
So can network people please look into this? The link is not working, some participant.
Yes, yes, sir. Sir, we'll resolve within 2 to 3 minutes. We'll resolve these issues. We are working, our team working in this way.
Okay, sir. Sir, Sahu sir, one question has been raised.
Yeah, sure.
So which one is the best bidirectional converter, sir?
Okay, so it depends on what kind of application you are going for. Okay, so if you are going for say bidirectional converter means, see any normal, if I'll tell you if you'll tell me which application, then I may let you know. But again, it depends on application. Suppose you are going for a charging, means you want to suppose you want to go for a battery integrated to the grid, PV system integrated to the grid, right? So there your voltage source inverter act as a, yes, you are grid connected and electric vehicle. Yeah, he has asked. So okay. So if you want to say, it depends on what power level you are operating. First thing. So if you are going very high power level, then you can go with this voltage source converter, H-bridge type voltage source, which can operate as a bidirectional converter, right? During suppose you want to pump power from the PV source side to the grid, then it will power transfer as an inverter. Suppose you want to back to the you want to charge the battery, because it is any PV system mostly it is connected to the battery. So if you want to connect to the battery and charge the battery, then same converter can be acted as a rectifier, right? So normally for high power application we can go for that, but for a low and medium power application, right, as I discussed, we cannot afford more number of converter stages or a high low frequency transformer, right? So in that case, this type of single stage converter, single stage buck boost inverter can be a better choice to act as a bidirectional converter, right? So you can utilize this, you can go through this Z source, bidirectional Z source converter or bidirectional quasi Z source converter, right? So like that you can also utilize. If you want to do research on that, you can also think on that.
Dear participants, please check your feedback line. Presently, it's working.
Okay. So I hope I have answered your question. So you have asked which one is the best. I have Uday Kumar. Yeah. Any other questions? Please, you can ask me. I think another 5-10 minutes is there. You can.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I request all participants click that link enabled to give your feedback for this section. So thank you very much, sir, for accepting our invitation.
Thank you, sir, for giving me an opportunity. Thank you, all the participants for your patience for 1.5 hours. Thank you all.
thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. This is Saravanan, sir. Thank you, sir. Manoranjan Sahu, sir. Thank you. Your lecture is very informative and interesting. You have discussed a lot for the research-oriented issues. Thank you very much for inviting our invitations. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Dear participants, the next session will start on exactly it's 3 o'clock. Please all are get connected with 2:50 p.m. today. Thank you.